Hello dear viewers, welcome to our channel. It's good to have you here. In today's video, we'll be looking at the manual steering system. Any mode of transportation used by people must have some means of control. When it comes to automobiles, there are two primary control systems that are used by the driver: the steering system and the braking system. This video focuses on the steering system. Most vehicles in service today have front wheel steering, but there are vehicles that use rear wheel steering, and there are also vehicles using all wheel steering. When it comes to the purpose of the steering system allows the driver to guide the car along the road and turn left or right as desired. The system includes main components such as the steering wheel, the steering gear, and the steering linkage. The steering wheel is the part which the driver controls. When it comes to the steering gear or the steering gearbox, it is the part that changes the rotary motion of the wheel into straight line motion, which means the rotary motion of the steering wheel, which is an input from the driver, will be converted to a straight line forward and backward motion by the steering gearbox. And we have steering linkages, which transmit the steering gear movement to the wheels that are to be steered, mostly the front wheels. Well, when we look at the components, here we have the steering wheel with two spokes, and then that is connected to the steering shaft. Here we have the steering shaft. It goes directly into the steering gearbox. Here we have the steering gearbox. This is a worm and roller type steering gearbox, where the steering shaft is directly connected to the worm, and it is supported by bearings on both ends, and it is in constant mesh with the roller. This roller configuration makes it easy for the driver because it is supported by bearings on either side. And then the roller is connected to the pitman shaft, or sometimes known as sector shaft. Sector shaft here, or the pitman shaft, is connected to the pitman arm. And finally, we have the ball joint and the linkage. The link, it goes in such a manner. This is a steering linkage that goes to the drag link. The drag link right here is connected to the left and right tie rods. Finally, the tie rod is connected to the steering arm. The steering system configuration depends on vehicle design and suspension system used. Well, what are the functions of the steering system? The steering system have multiple functions. The primary function of the steering system is to achieve angular motion of the front wheels to negotiate a turn. And the other function of the steering system is to provide directional stability of the vehicle when going a straight line, straight ahead. And the other function of the steering system is to facilitate a straight ahead recovery after completing a turn. And the steering system has also a function of minimizing wear and tear on tires. The steering system also absorbs road shocks, thereby preventing them to get transmitted to the driver's hands. The steering system also provides perfect rolling motion of the road wheel at all times. When we look at the requirements that must be met by the steering system, it has to be very accurate, it has to be easy to handle, it has to provide directional stability, it has to multiply the turning effort applied by the driver on the steering wheel, and it has to be irreversible to a certain degree, so that shocks of the road surface encountered by the wheel are not to be transmitted to the driver's hand. And for ease of understanding, let's see the principle of operation, and then we'll proceed to discussing about the different components and their functions. The steering wheel rotates the steering column. The steering gearbox is fitted at the end of the steering column. Therefore, when the steering wheel is rotated, the steering gearbox shaft, or sometimes known as the cross shaft or the pitman shaft, in the gearbox oscillates. This shaft is connected to the drop arm, or sometimes known as the pitman arm. This arm is linked by means of a drag link to the steering arms. The steering arms on both wheels are connected by the tie rods to the drag link. So when the steering wheel is operated, the knuckle moves to and fro, moving the wheels to the right or to the left as desired. The ends of the tie rods and steering knuckle are connected to each other. One end of the drag link is connected to the tie rod, the other end is connected to the end of the drop arm or the pitman arm. A ball and socket joint gives the required movement to the joints between the tie rod, drag link and drop arm or the pitman arm. Well, now let's proceed to brief description of the steering system components. The steering wheel. The steering wheel is made of a steel ring welded together on a hub with the help of 2, 3 or 4 spokes. And then the welded ring is covered with a material that is suitable for hand grip. In certain vehicles, the center hub has spline cut, and on others it has a Q curve, so that it can be securely fixed to the steering shaft firmly. The center hub is connected to the steel ring by either 2, 3 or 4 spokes. The steering wheel in some vehicles can be tilted and located in position to suit the driver. The steering outer tube or the steering column. This is a hollow steel pipe in which steering shaft is housed. One end of the pipe is fixed on the steering box. The other end is usually held with the help of bracket under the instrument panel. The steering shaft. The steering shaft is made out of good quality steel. One end is fixed on the steering wheel with the help of splines or key and kept tight by nuts. The other end is securely and firmly fixed on the steering box with the help of a bearing placed both on top and bottom. The steering gearbox. The function of the steering gearbox is to convert rotary motion of the wheel into to and from motion of the pitman arm, so that the drag link tied up with the pitman arm can be pushed or pulled, resulting into moving stub axle to right or left as desired by the driver. The pitman arm, or sometimes known as the drop arm, is forged out of good quality steel. Its one side is provided with the splines, which match the spline of the sector shaft and held on the sector shaft by nut. The other end has taper holes in which ball end is held tight with the help of nut. The gearbox that is shown in this video is a worm and roller type. It is very similar to the worm and sector type gearbox. In this case, the roller is supported by ball bearings within the sector or the pitman shaft. The bearings reduce sliding friction between the worm and sector. The worm also can be shaped similarly. Steering linkage is a connection of various links between the steering gearbox and the front wheel. It depends upon the type of the vehicle, whether it is a car which has independent front suspension or vehicle with a rigid axle type front suspension. The steering linkage transfers the side-to-side or front-to-rear movement of the pitman arm into the left and right movement of the front wheels. The steering system includes a collection of components which allow to follow the desired course. In a car, the steering system ensures that wheels are pointing in the desired direction of motion. The steering system converts rotary motion of the steering wheel to the angular turn of the wheels. The steering wheel also have mechanical advantage that is used to minimize the input from the driver. The steering system uses joints and links that should be adjusted with precision. Smallest error can be very dangerous when it comes to steering system. The steering system mechanism should not transfer the shocks in the road to the driver's hand. It should minimize the wear and tear of the tire. Well, to summarize, the steering system is a very crucial system in the vehicle that will allow vehicle control. It helps the driver to control the vehicle direction of travel. It also provides stability to the vehicle on the road. It is designed to minimize tire wear and tear. It prevents road shocks from reaching to the driver, and it provides self-rightening effect after taking a turn. So this is how the steering system operates. We hope you have enjoyed this presentation. If you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification so that you will be the first to be notified whenever we come up with another video. Till then, stay safe.